Hi, how's it going? I'm Brandon Blunk. I am here doing a screen recording of an edit for Dr. Cheryl Cole at the University of Illinois College of Media. This is for an independent study, and I am performing this to break down the how you actually create content and breaking it down within the program that I use and bringing it to its endpoint, which is a shareable byte of Instagram or Facebook type content for a trip that the Sports Business Association and the Illinois Sports Business Conference went on, which is the Indiana Pacers. So, the way that I'm doing the screen recording is using OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software. Very simple, and this is also how you would stream from a desktop on Facebook or Periscope or any of those. This is a open source software that is meant to be used with everything and anything that people can code for it. So, thank you to them. Next, if you would like to see any more of my videos, you can check out, I have multi-platform here. My website is modatransportation.com. You can find a cool story here and a picture I took and when 1080p had actually just come out. It's actually a screen grab. And you can also check out my Facebook page, Moda Transportation. Recently I was live streaming in 360 the frozen Lake Michigan. So that was good. And also my Instagram, which has stories that you can check out through the app, and different story highlights, and the landing page has a lot of different little videos and kind of stories hiding behind these tiles. So yeah, basically here we go. This is the edit itself, so we're going to go full screen here and get into it. And we'll just double check that we're recording here. Yep, okay. And, alright, so this is going to be very confusing because I'm going back and forth, and then I'm also going back and forth in this. So basically the strategy here is I've broken down all of the different best excuse me. I have broken down all of the clips that I shot. I shot this with a GoPro Hero 5 and a Karma grip. So as you can see, these I probably filmed for 15 minutes total, to be honest, but it was the most compact 15 minutes. So you got to make sure you're recording, of course. And basically, I took the best parts of each thing and created this sequence. So what this is lying in Premiere Pro, which is the program we're using, is a sequence, and so this is basically where you edit the footage. What I'm doing with these colors is I'm basically defining like which ones are the best, and since I am doing this obviously at 4:37 in the morning, I have a vision of what I think I can do with all the footage, and so since I've cut it all up, I can define the different colors and kind of put it in different buckets of the different images within my head to create the vision, the end vision, with the footage and the way I shot it. So I'm defining the different colors here, and you're also getting a preview kind of the different types of shots that I had and how it comes to the end. So we're going to fast forward here. I'm using J, K, and L is the way that you fast forward or rewind or pause on YouTube. So that's that little 10-second thing going on. Other things about Premiere, it does a lot of different, it has a lot of different uses and possibilities, and they update it like every 8 months. So if you keep it updated, there's a lot of different things that you can do, like they added VR and other stuff. So I'm continuing here to just go through the footage. You can see about right here, it's at the 2:16 mark, and once I kind of zoom it out, you'll see I've defined how long I think the video really will be. It's around a minute. So I've defined that in the sequence so I can visualize the different clips and where they will go in the end. And this is very simple because usually there's multiple layers where there's an interview, so you kind of have to look at the interview, cut it up, judge it, and then work with the B-roll, as it's called, and the B-roll would be these different images. But since we are not using an interview at all, we are going to just kind of tell a visual story so it makes sense, instead of, like, not showing you driving in the middle of the video, showing you driving at the beginning and showing you doing stuff at the end, blah 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 blah. So continuing to just kind of line up all the different things, visualizing these in and out points, they're called. And yeah, so just kind of watching through them, adjusting them to what I want. There's different slow-mo things, like I need to stabilize this, and usually you do all of the different color, audio, and stabilization needs at the end, because you don't want to be taking time and processing power to use to do things, the stuff that you don't need. But particularly here, the reason why I kind of brought this on the trip and everything is I wanted to test out the camera, test out the stabilizers for different trust things. And so I am kind of figuring out right now if the shot's going to be able to work in the first place, so I can end up putting it in. So there's different shots that I'm just throwing this thing called warp stabilizer on. And so basically here now I've picked out all the best footage, I've defined it, turning up the volume, and basically we're going to go on this marketplace and find some music and just listen to different music, and still looking for some music, kind of looking through different like corporate type things. This one's called Sport Rock. Caught my attention. It's got some bite to the music, and different separations that kind of match the different clips we have. So every beat is, every 4 or 5 seconds. I have 4 or 5 second clips. I know I can kind of make that tell a story a little bit. Besides something like this called Inspiration and Success. So it's more just like all happy and stuff. But basically in the end, I'll put together 3 different songs I like, download the previews with the watermark on it, and throw it in sequence. So let's get there. So basically here I'm just, finding it, put in the sequence. Now I'm dropping them, all the audio tracks in sequence, and what I'm going to do here is kind of align them with my guesstimation of how long this video will be, and kind of listen to how they feel with the different images, and then I'll kind of define which one or 2 I think is the best, and then after that just kind of cut the video towards it. And again, there's a lot of different processes depending on what type of video you're trying to make. So here I'm trying to just make a bite-sized, like, look, we did this and now it's over and you can get on with your life because you're only going to pay attention to this for 35, 40 seconds on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever anyone wants to post it. So on social media, of course. So if you did an interview, you kind of start with that, get the storyline set up, and then kind of the music plays a little bit of a less role within the entire scheme of things, because the person talking is the primary source of sound, and yeah, so that's kind of why I'm going off the music on this one, because it's the primary source of sound. And we're just skipping, and basically in the end I like the one that's called Sport Rock, and so now I'm placing all these different images. I'm kind of, like, as I said, it's now 4:54 in the morning, so it's been like 15 minutes since I kind of looked through all this stuff, and so I know all of it in my head. So basically I'm looking through different clips thinking, oh, can this go there, can this go there, does this tell the story correctly, are we walking in, is it showing we walked into the place and then went down to in the bowels of the stadium and saw all these different aspects kind of behind the scenes, and went in the press conference room. So I'm trying to tell that story, and then after, going on the court. So it's kind of an interesting story. It was a really cool trip, and yeah, so that's why it's important to tell the story the best way. So, kind of keep just still putting this together. As you can see, I'm using, like, the pink and green ones are probably the best ones, and the other ones are ones that I think I would, most likely almost throw away, but then like, why would I throw it away? I spent all that time, doing this anyway, so keep it there. And you'll see in the end, it's funny, these types of, like the blue ones that you don't think are actually going to be used, end up being your key shots sometimes when you have it all together and you're like, what is this missing? So basically here, kind of defining different things, putting this together, the different tools that I'm using. So obviously this is like the mouse button, which is V on the keyboard, and basically you can select stuff. There's another one that I'm using that looks like a weird backspace thing. If I can find that. Okay, so the thing, also the way that I was skipping through those within Premiere, like I guess like any other program, there's a bunch of different keyboard shortcuts. So if you learn all the keyboard shortcuts, you'll have a good handle kind of on how to do basic things. So I'm just clicking different keyboard shortcuts to navigate through a lot. Like the up and down buttons on the arrow keys switch you from clip to clip. The start and the end of each clip, like boom, 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 like backwards, either way. So I'm just kind of still putting it together, figuring it out. If you want to watch the full edit video, that is also featured on this exact same YouTube channel that I showed you earlier, and also it is going to be located in the same YouTube channel that this video is in. So just kind of doing different technical things to make this work. This shot was kind of difficult, and that's like a place where you learn within the filming with this, any camera. You learn by just doing it and learning the different boundaries and kind of ways to operate it. Here I like learned some stuff in different ways to like kind of move with the camera, but particularly I had to do this to learn it. Like I said, it's not the biggest deal, but you do always want to keep improving and understanding that there's probably a specific way to do that. So if you notice the footage is bad, I'm just trying to basically resurrect it into something that's a smooth panning shot over the people's shoulders and not bouncy like you kind of saw there. So here the video is kind of starting to come together. It's telling like the visual story, like, oh, now we're walking out here, we're going to the court, and you see this, warm-ups. So that's fun. And we're going here, the stabilizer, I guess, was off by like 7 degrees, so I had to fix that. And now I'm kind of starting to come together. If you can see, the end is right here. It's I've got it about 50 something seconds now because I shrunk it down. So now I'm making some final decisions within the edit. And so now I'm starting to, I think I have everything almost in place, and I'm going back to OBS. So now, basically, since I think I almost have everything in place, it's been, however many minutes. It's 5 in the morning, 5:30 almost. So here I am rendering the video, which means that I have, if you think about it, the way the program works is all the files that I shot are in a folder. So the program is referencing all of those different files to create previews within the program, which is right here, the program monitor. So it's creating previews to show you kind of what the edit's going to look like. And so when you render it, it actually creates files that will then be used in the actual exporting and encoding of the video and create the file in the end. So when you do these previews, what happens is different parts that I kind of did those different resurrecting type like strategies, they are all jumpy or the computer slows down and stops. So what happens is when it creates these new files, it can then play through smoothly, and it'll also be able to use those files later in the encoding when you actually create the MP4 that you would upload to YouTube or send out to somebody. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And just still rendering. I did a lot of stuff, and it kind of took that long, so I'm just messing around here. So basically, while this is rendering, I'm going to use my time efficiently, I guess, and go and find I have an end animation, or end AI, which is a different program for illustration. So I'm basically plugging in that my I guess end tag into the video. So now that it's done rendering, I'm kind of watching it to see oh, didn't miss this, didn't miss that. Do I have to adjust a little bit, because as I said before, it was a preview, so now there's real files there, so you can actually see what it's gonna look like now that there's real rendered files that are being shown. So you can kind of see that shot was was a little messy. This one's fine. And so yeah, these ones I did some stuff on because there's some minor shake. Here I tried to, but it's not really worth it because it's so shaky. This one, you can see it kind of moves a little bit. So I think I fixed that in the end before I did the final exporting. But basically, yeah, still kind of reviewing it and making sure that it's good. Doing a little, see now in the mindset, I have taken all these different pieces of the actual video and put it together in one cohesive story, visual story with the music. And so now I'm kind of watching it and saying to myself, because if you think about it, I've seen these clips probably now 12, 15, 20 times. I've watched the video itself probably that many times. So I have a biased, skewed perspective on actually what's going on and how somebody's gonna react to it. So to best combat that, I have to say to myself, they're now in they're sitting there in the lobby. Oh, they're on a trip. This guy's saying go. They're like, hey, now we're going this way. Now we're in this place with a brick wall. What is that? It's oh, it's the bowels of the stadium. Now they're doing a whole press conference thing in there, so they must have been downstairs, right? In the press conference room. Now they're off again somewhere. Obviously in the bowels of the stadium, which I think is a cool shot. Now they're going to the court. Here it's more showing, not or telling, not showing. In video, people always say you gotta show the reaction first. It creates more suspense. So that was the thought process on showing them getting in before showing the court. And here's just a visual review of the last 30 seconds, because as I said, somebody who has about a thumb's worth of patience to view this video, because that was the original intent of the video. They are starting to kind of get bored, so if you do a little more quick cutting, it will be more interesting. And in the end, it creates a final thing that says, hey, visually, we're all moving up together, and the trip is over, walking away from this experience type of vibe with it. And also I'm adding my tag at the end here, and it comes out to about 52 seconds, so it's 8 seconds off, but usually I think people kind of get bored at 45 seconds with a video like this. And I could have easily made a very in-depth interview video and whatnot, but the entire process of cutting all of the footage up from raw footage, finding the music, exporting it, and putting it all together, and doing the screen recording and all that stuff took me only an hour. So I'm able to take 60 minutes out of my day, put this all together, and have a good memory that is cohesive, professional, and also creates awareness. So there's other projects that I do this on, but for something that I go run off and do on a Tuesday and skip class with my peers and go experience a field trip and excursion, this is a perfect type of thing. So editing all of the different stuff and kind of figuring out where I want it to fade out and watching it some more. And now I added adjustment layer on the top, which means that I put in different things. And like I said, I'm trying to get this all done, not only just the editing part, because I've only probably put in 30 minutes of editing, but the rest of it surrounding it did take 30 minutes as well, between music and all the other things. So I would love to go through it, like I said, in a longer type video or something that I didn't just jump in a car, go to Indiana, shoot it for 15 minutes, watch a basketball game with my peers, and then come back. I actually don't have time for it, which I'd love to sit there on every shot and fix all the color. But so I'll take all the auto color, auto contrast, and auto levels, and just literally put it in there. And usually it's pretty good. Like, it just brings the blacks to where they should be, the whites other places. The GoPro, of course, in this lighting did not do so well, and these are different things that I was testing with trust and maneuverability. So that's kind of what I'm doing there, and just watching it one last time with the color. As you can see, the blacks are a little bit darker, and the oranges and tan is more true. And again, since I just add all this, it's all jumpy, so before I export it, I'm going to render it, create those files, basically create those files, and make sure when I play it through it all looks good, because but start to finish, this was super blown out, and I was able to bring this back a little bit, which was nice. The court itself. So yeah, that's kind of in the end how it looks and everything. And so yeah, basically, if you'd like to see in more in depth kind of how all this was put together, or just kind of track step by step, you can watch the full video. It's only about an hour long. And basically, I guess this commentary is over. So yeah, you can check out the Facebook here. Basically, there's different videos about the wheelchair basketball team and other different parts of U of I's athletic program. We got some Facebook Live going here. So that's basically it. And thank you for watching, and I hope you learned some stuff within the strategy and kind of the thought process going through the actual creation of the video. So thank you for watching, and yeah.